What a bell ringer already. Hello again, everybody. Lance Russell with Dave Brown and Corey Macklin, ready to go with another big day of USWA Championship Wrestling. Dave, I'm gone a week, and son of a gun, what in the world happened last week?
You always said expect the unexpected, and it was strange here last week, but I'm sure you know right now that Bill Dundee and JC Ice Jamie Dundee have teamed up.
Total switch of partners.
Yeah, and Brian Christopher and Wolfie D are now partners.
Yeah.
It was strange. There's no doubt about it. But
and you got a new champ? What is
that's
this?
Right. Doug Gilbert won the USWA title right here, defeating Brian Lee. We're going to have a rematch of that today. Brian Lee's still not happy about the way that one turned out. So that's going to be one of the big matches we got right here today.
Yeah, we just kind of passed over that. A rematch right here for the USWA tag title. Brian Lee, Doug Gilbert. Only difference is their roles have changed. Doug is a champion.
Is now the champion. And also, we talk about Wolfie D and Brian Christopher as tag team partners. They will be here wrestling as partners today. It's a big day coming up.
How in the world? I know that Gilbert won the right to meet Brian Lee, but I wondered if he'd ever take the match.
Well, I did too. That's another thing we talked about last week. It was so strange to have Doug Gilbert out here. Many of the fans were cheering for Doug. That's something that's been unusual in
really.
recent memory. But Doug ended up winning the match. Actually, he kind of outsmarted Brian Lee is what happened.
Well, I'll tell you what. I didn't get an opportunity to see it, but I'd like to look back at that tape and find out exactly how he did get that title. Let's take a look at that.
And...
Hey! I made a mistake. Brian Lee, you are prime time, and I made the biggest mistake, and let me be the first to apologize.
He made a mistake climbing in there, he said.
And now wants to shake hands with primetime Brian Lee.
Yeah!
What are they going to do?
Yeah, right here! Yeah!
Is he declaring primetime the winner? That's right.
Oh, look out! Let Gilbert here! Rolls him up! 1, 2, 3!
USWA heavyweight champion, Doug Gilbert.
The only difference between me and you is you're a beat man, and you're hurt, and you don't even know it. A hurt man. Hurt man. That's right.
Jimmy Harris grabbing him from behind. Brian Lee nailing him.
Hey, come on, guys! Brian Lee jumping on dangerous Doug Gilbert. Nelson without walkie-talkie in there.
The side of one of our bands. Brian Lee and Jimmy Harris taking Doug Gilbert outside the building, and they're working him over in the parking lot out there. Yeah, that's Brian Lee with Doug Gilbert down on the pavement. Jimmy Harris ahead of security, holding him down with a boot.
Boy, I'll tell you, that was something, but to salve all of those wounds that Doug had, that belt's got to help a lot.
Well, that's exactly right.
He's got it.
He has the belt. He's been champion for a week. Can he continue to be champion after today? We'll find out in a little while.
What else is going to happen today? You stay right there, because we're going to be back with our first bout coming up in just a moment.
History states that downtown Bruno Whippleman became the top manager ever in the World Wrestling Federation, just as I've done in here. But back in 1986, when I came right here on this channel, there was a lot of stooges running around here, a lot of goofs in the ring that didn't belong here. You had like Jimmy Hart, who didn't belong around here, Jim Cornette, J.D. Costello, don't even remember him, right? The Mod Squad, Big Baba Goliath, Boy Tony, people that didn't deserve to be in the same wrestling federation as downtown Bruno. So I cleaned house. I got rid of them. I upgraded the USWA. In fact, it was called the CWA back then. I changed the name to USWA because it was a lot better.
Well, I didn't know you did all of that.
I did all of that, Lance. You did know it. You don't want to give me credit. Now, I've been away for a while. Even 1 week when I'm gone to the World Wrestling Federation, things start to junk up. A bunch of garbage starts drifting back in. Now I see a bunch of stooges like Corey Macklin and Dave Brown and yourself and the promoters and the wrestling commissioners. There's a little clique of garbage, a little clique of trash around here. You know, you got Randy Hales, Mr. Coffey, Eddie Marlin, yourself, a little strong clique. Well, guess what? 10 years ago, we had a downtown connection here in the USWA, and it was strong, and it was rough. When I came here from Fort Duquesne Boulevard, downtown Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania, I said I was going to clean this place up, and I did, and I'm fixing to do it again, because we are going to have the downtown connection again. Just like we had it 10 years ago, we fixing to have it again.
You're going to clean it up.
Again, I'm going to clean up the USWA, and the greatest talent in the world is here in the USWA. It just needed my guidance to bring it together, a coalition, a commission, a downtown connection. So first of all, you've got a guy by the name of Gorgeous George III. He needed somebody to watch his back. He needed somebody to be with him, and he's got somebody to be with him. I'd like to bring George and his valet out here at this time. Come on. Now, what do you think about that?
You've got Gorgeous George III, and Karen is with him?
That's right. Uptown Karen's going to look after his affairs.
Are you sure you are all right with that?
Yes, I'm all right with that. I'm the one that called him out here, ain't I? Now, you've got a wrestler that, to me, is the most incredible talent ever to come to the USWA. I'm talking about a man that's a technician, that's a psychiatrist, that's a brain surgeon that knows what he's doing in the ring. I'm talking about the Royal Flush Man himself. I'd like to bring out my good friend, the Gambler.
The Gambler, huh? Well, and all of these are members of the new downtown connection.
The new downtown connection. Now, every connection needs a little muscle. Every connection needs somebody to kind of be the big man.
Yeah.
And we've got that man right here. You know, you got a bunch of goofs around, but there's only one real muscle man. I'm talking about Johnny Rotten.
Well, he's brand new to the USWA. He's been around here a few weeks, and he fits right into your
Now look at this. Johnny Rotten, the Gambler, Gorgeous George III, Uptown Karen, Downtown Bruno, and you know what? Last but certainly not least, even though he put me in a court jester suit in 1987, I forgave him, gave him another chance. I'm talking about the man that's made me some money, Brick House, Bunkhouse, the man, B-R-O-W-N.
Brick House Brown coming out.
You understand? This man is an ace in the hole. We've had our differences. We've had our problems, but that's a thing of the past. Look at this body. Look at that mind. If you knew what was going on in there, Lance Russell, you'd be scared.
I'm glad.
I've got a hit list now, you understand? There's a lot of people in the USWA that have teed me off. A lot of people that I don't care nothing about. You know, you got your Bill Dundees, you got your Jerry Lawlers, you got your Wolfie D's, you got your Jamie Dundees. Okay, but right now, my hit list is concerning one person, one individual, somebody that has tried to make a mockery out of the beautiful Uptown Karen, somebody that's tried to make a mockery out of me, somebody that came around here 4 or 5 years ago, Miss Texas. Okay, wait a minute now.
Miss Texas is right at the head of your list. Right?
She's at the head of my list. She is the list. My book's mighty thin, and she's on page 1, page 2, and page 3. That's all there is to it. See, 1, 2, 3. She came around here with some fly-by-night named Eric Embry a few years ago. He came and went because he's a piece of trash, and he brought trash with him. And that's what Miss Texas is, a piece of trash. Well, guess what? The reason I've got this is when you've got dogs around, you've got to have signs like this, you know, for the dogs to know how to obey. What I've got here is a can of dog food. Cameraman, zoom in on this. That's dog food. And what I'm going to do is challenge Miss Texas to a match where the loser has to eat dog food.
How do you like dog food, Bruno?
I don't like it one little bit, and I'm sure she don't either, because you understand, Miss Texas, you thought you could humiliate me? You thought you could humiliate Uptown Karen? Well, guess what? The shoe's on the other foot, girl, because I'm going to make you eat this dog. How's that smell,
Hey,
Liz?
come on, Bruno, get that stuff out of there. We're going up to
Hey, let me say one thing, because it's like Mama says, it feeds that way sometimes.
Save me, Corey. Downtown connection. Okay, we're ready for action here, Lance. Opening bout on USWA Championship Wrestling Tag Team Action. First introducing at a combined weight of 533 pounds from the great state of Arkansas, here is Johnny Rotten. And his partner from Miami, Florida, Brick House Brown. With Uptown Karen and Downtown Bruno in their corner. Hey, come on, Bruno. Their opponents today, combined weight of 463 pounds, from Memphis, Tennessee, David Haskins. And his partner from Atlanta, Georgia, Scott Stott.
One fall, a 10-minute time limit. Bill Rush is the official referee. To my colleagues, Lance Russell, Dave Brown.
Haskins and Scott Studd set to go. Johnny Rotten, boy, he's huge. His partner, Brickhouse Brown, the tough veteran, starting against Scott Studd. We are underway with USWA Wrestling. Downtown Bruno wandering over to the table. I'm afraid we're going to get commentary from him during this match, too.
Hey, there's only a few legends left. Only a few of us left. You know, the species is starting to become extinct. As long as I'm around, there's going to be at least one day.
All I can tell you is that with that announcement of the new downtown connection, a big black cloud just came over my day. Who needed to hear that?
Something I didn't mention that I need to tell you right now. There's another ugly woman running around the USWA by the name of Susan Sapphire. She has about as much business in the USWA or anywhere in the wrestling business, Dave, as you do. And that's none. So you know what? Susan Sapphire, you and that ugly-looking sweet Georgia Brown, if you want to get involved, you end up just like Miss Texas. It means dog food in your mouth on a bus out of town, baby. Because it's like Mama says, it bees that way sometimes.
Let us get back to the wrestling. Good night, Bruno.
Bruno over here making enemies just about as fast as he can call names.
Oh, he's got a natural talent for that.
Open your ears, Jack.
Brickhouse misses the elbow. Scott Studd tags it out to David Haskins, and David wraps the arm up.
Brickhouse Brown, knee to the back. That stopped any move that David Haskins was about to make. Now knee to midsection as Brickhouse Brown tries to take control. David Haskins ducks under again. Down to the mat goes Brickhouse. A cover, count of one, but he can't make it stick. Actually, the shoulders were only down for a 1 count. He got a 2 before Brickhouse was able to break out of it. Brickhouse round behind David Haskins. Johnny Rotten comes in. Hammers David Haskins across the back of the neck. Haskins not given up by any stretch of the imagination. He's over to the corner. Makes the tag on Scott Studd, who's up on the ropes. Down he comes on the left arm.
Rups in there hard, and Scott Studd tightens up on that bar. You got to be careful, though. That's exactly what happened. Instead of being far enough around to the side, he was where Rotten could turn into him, and he drove him back into the corner. Makes the tag on Brickhouse Brown, and Brickhouse drilled Scott Studd.
And downtown Bruno was holding Scott Studd back in the corner by the tights.
Brickhouse misses with a headbutt. David Haskins in. Swinging away at Brickhouse and Johnny Rotten. Hammers those coconuts together. And Scott Studd and David Haskins at the moment have the advantage on it. As the whip. And down goes Brickhouse. And look at that Rotten. He is big and rough.
Down he goes. The referee doesn't see it because look at Bruno with that sign as he hammers David Haskins. Johnny Rotten now has Haskins' shoulders down, and all of a sudden the referee begins to count. 1, 2, 3. Johnny Rotten, Brickhouse Brown, downtown Bruno, and uptown Karen. All of them figured in that match.
It bees that way sometimes. Open your ears.
Nice shot, Bruno.
We hear, we see, but we don't like that it's that way sometimes, downtown Bruno.
Scott Studd trying to talk to Bill Rush, the referee, and he was out of it, and Bruno took advantage of it. Boom! Whipped in there and beat him with that sign.
Yeah, that's it. And no amount of explanation is probably going to change the decision here because the referee didn't see all of that. All he saw was the shoulders pinned. He made the count. And that's the result for the match. Here comes Miss Texas. Miss Texas insulted, not just today, but time after time by downtown Bruno, uptown Karen. She can speak for herself, and here she is right here. Miss Texas, I'm sure you heard all of that stuff that Bruno was saying and the dog food and the match, the challenge that he has made.
Yes, I was in the back listening to downtown Bruno. Bruno, you've been a thorn in my side for a long time. Most of the women I wrestle is a lot tougher than you. This week, I got you in a dog food match, where the loser of the match had to eat dog food. So you better get ready and open wide.
Well, there's no doubt about it. I don't think Bruno understands totally the challenge that he's just made. He comes out here waving the can of dog food, but you may be the one ended up.
Let me tell you something. When you refer to me, you call me mister, you call me sir. My name is Downtown Bruno. It ain't nothing else ugly. And I'm going to tell you something right now, girl. You're going to have that dog food in your face. You're going to eat it. You're going to swallow it. Matter of fact, there, I'm going to do it right now.
Bruno didn't find easy goings there when he hit Miss Texas. Look out, here comes Karen. Karen down on the floor. Miss Texas going after her as Bruno was knocked down by Miss Texas. Oh, look out. Johnny Rotten, big Johnny Rotten picks Miss Texas up. And now they hold up Miss Texas. Here's Brickhouse Brown out too. What is it? Oh, come on. Oh, now that's just real great, Bruno and company. Downtown connection. Oh, man, let's get out of here. Let's take a break. We'll be back in a minute.
Okay, we got it coming. Our big main event of the day, and this one's going to be a USWA heavyweight title.
Last time we had one of these on television, which was just 1 week ago, we ended up with a brand new USWA heavyweight champion. The man who was champion headed here right now. He's now not the champion, though. He's the challenger. Brian Lee, prime time with a head of security, Jimmy Harris, with him. But this is not a tag team match. This is a single match. It's... Hey, have something to say? All right. I have to say, Brian Lee, we've got a match scheduled here. I'd like to get you in the ring. The champion.
Brown, I know we have a match on the way. Next time you come out here and say I'm former champion, you might be a former commentator. You got it? You know Doug Gilbert? You don't know me. Dave Brown, you don't know me. Lance Russell, you have no clue. And these people out here don't know me. Primetime Brian Lee is a caring person. I'm a loving person. I'm a gentle man, see? What happened last week was Primetime Brian Lee, they took advantage of him. See, Doug Gilbert, he's a lonely man. Doug Gilbert's a man on his own. Jimmy Harris will tell you, we ride up and down these roads, we look over in the car, doing about 90, 95 miles an hour in that limo, pass by Doug Gilbert, doing double nickels, 55 miles an hour, tear in his eye. He's a lonely man. So what he did was he come out here, he's grabbing for stars, he's grabbing for prime time, and what he did was he got up in the ring and he tricked me. He took advantage of a loving, kind, caring man. Well, Doug Gilbert, bring it on out here because all that's changed. What you better do is get the referee, get my belt, walk it through the curtain, say you're sorry, because I tell you what, you step through the curtain today for that U.S. title match, and you will sign your death certificate. I'm going to bank on it.
I guarantee he's going to be coming this way. He didn't back up from the challenge last time, and I'm sure he's not going to back up from the title defense this time. USWA title is going to be on the line. Primetime Brian Lee going wild in the ring. Corey, watch yourself up there. As here comes the champion, Doug Gilbert. Let's go to Corey for the official introductions for this match.
Okay, Dave, this is a sanctioned USWA heavyweight title bout. Former champion from Orlando, Florida, primetime Brian Lee. Well, God, it's Lee and Doug Gilbert. Gilbert from Lexington, and hate to cut it short, but I got to get out of here. Lance and Dave.
Doug Gilbert ambushed by Jimmy Harris on the floor before he ever got to the ring.
Jimmy Harris nailed him with a clothesline, put him right on his back, threw him into the ring in that condition, and primetime 1-2. Whoa, Gilbert almost lost it right back, Dave.
He sure did, but he had the presence of mind to get it broken just before the 3 count fell. Into the corner goes Brian Lee. Oh, Gilbert went in there too quickly. Big mistake by Doug. You shouldn't make mistakes like that against a guy as big and tough as primetime Brian Lee. He can say he's a caring, loving man all he wants to, but I tell you what, he'll beat your brains out if you don't watch it.
Yeah, he says he's a kind man. He's the kind of man I don't want anything to do with, I'll tell you. Primetime down with a chokehold on Doug Gilbert. Now, I'm not here to say that all of a sudden I've got a great love for Doug Gilbert, because I've seen Gilbert do some pretty bad things. I never saw him hit a kid, but primetime Brian Lee is full of vengeance this week, David.
Well, last week, Corey and I were saying exactly the same thing. We don't really know who to be for if we were pulling for somebody in a match like this, except I must say that at least in the last few days, Doug Gilbert has conducted himself in a more gentlemanly fashion than primetime Brian Lee and Jimmy Harris.
Brian Lee whips him into the rope, sunset flip. Doug Gilbert 1, 2, and that's all. Clothesline. Oh, he's down.
Look for a minute like Doug had it won. Now Brian Lee's got to cover. Count of 2. Doug Gilbert able to break that one fairly easily. That's easy for me to say. He broke it easily. With a big guy like Brian Lee holding you down.
Foot in the mouth, Dave.
Look at Doug going to the ropes. Jimmy Harris tripped him up. You couldn't see it, but from outside, Jimmy Harris tripped him. There you see Harris walking around. No, I didn't do a thing, as if to say to the referee. Meanwhile, Doug Gilbert lying on the mat. Not for long, he moves out of the way. Brian Lee makes a big mistake.
Doug Gilbert firing back with that right hand. Hammers primetime Brian Lee into the turnbuckles, and a whip. Foot in the midsection. Gilbert DDT'd him, put Brian Lee down. I don't know whether he's not really in a position to cover. Here comes Jimmy Harris up on the ring apron, and Doug Gilbert takes care of him. Look out, Doug. Primetime Brian Lee at him. The referee goes down. Doug Gilbert low bridged, and down he goes. Primetime crotched him, knocked him down. Here comes Jimmy Harris. Bill Rush, the referee, down, face down. And Jimmy Harris nailed Brian Lee with that telephone. Gilbert covers him. Count of 1, 2, 3, and the third count came in, I think.
Yep,
Dave.
he got him. He got the 3 count. Jimmy Harris got in there and put a boot to the back of the referee, who already was not in very good shape. But the referee did, in fact, get the 3 count down. And unless we get a different ruling, Doug Gilbert has just successfully defended this USWA heavyweight title. But he's being double-teamed now by Harris and Brian Lee.
Brian Lee with a choke, and the referee, Bill Rush, is still down from that bump he took in there. And had it not been for the mistake by Jimmy Harris, with Lee holding Doug, Harris going to try to hit Doug right in the head with that telephone. Doug was able to duck, and he hit primetime Brian Lee, and Doug got the pin on him. Here comes Randy Hales out.
Yeah, Doug has put himself in an unfortunate situation in that he may not have a lot of friends to come in and help him out right now.
You're right there. Good observation, Dave.
All right, Randy Hale says if they touch that referee again, they're suspended. Now, primetime Brian Lee finally out of there. Here comes Jimmy Harris. They're complaining. They're not happy, but at least maybe they're leaving. And he can like it or not, but that's the former champion, Brian Lee, that's leaving here right now.
And the former champion just decked by Jimmy Harris, but Doug got the cover. He retained it. Let's take a break. We'll be back in just a moment.
Okay, here we go with more action right here today on USWA Wrestling. First introducing from parts unknown, here is the Yellow Jacket. And his partner from Nashville, Tennessee, Edric Hines. Their opponents today from the land down under of Australia, Bill Superstar Dundee and Jamie Dundee. 1 fall, 10 minutes in time. Bill Rush is the referee guy.
All right, Corey, again, it's one of those strange teams. This is maybe a little less strange than the other with Bill Dundee and J.C. Ice whose real name I think most wrestling fans everywhere know is Jamie Dundee, Bill's son. Father and son team together here. See, Jamie brought the hubcap to the ring from the PG-13 team. He and Wolfie D not together right now, but you also notice that JC handed out a belt. That's half of the USWA Tag Team titles held by PG-13 right now. But again today, it's not PG-13, it's Bill Dundee, Jamie Dundee, against the Yellow Jacket and Edric Hines.
Well, I'll tell you what, they're too much. The Dundees, J.C. Ice and Bill Dundee. There's more guts on that side of the ring than you find.
There's a lot of confidence there. Bill certainly instilled that in J.C. Ice, and when he gives away in size, he makes up with confidence.
Yellow Jacket, good shoulder. J.C. down. Nice leg scissors and pitch. The Yellow Jacket straight forward. Hooked him with that arm and took him over. Drop kick. Look at that son of a gun. He really can move.
He really can. Bill not only instilled him with confidence, the young man has talent and ability, too.
Proud Papa over there marching up and down the apron. But right now, it's turned around. Edric Hines in. Rips a right to the midsection. Pounds with a forearm on the back and a whip. JC. Moving down with a clothesline.
Not totally happy with the way it came about, but in a way, it is good to see Bill Dundee and J.C. Ice together again. I know Jamie had a real rebellious streak in him for a long time, which was a major source of disappointment for and frustration for Bill Dundee.
Yes, sir.
But they're here together as tag team partners today. That's Edric Hines and a face lock put on him by J.C. Ice.
Looks like JC's doing all the work. Bill is, he's proud on the apron out there. And the whip, better go to the corner and make that tag now, JC. Edric Hines taking advantage of the mistake as he went in a little too quick. Yellow Jacket and Hines, a double whip. Take him right down, off his feet, on the floor. And he may have waited a little late to get that tag. As the whip. Catch him again, and J.C. Ice is down.
Edric Hines in a Yellow Jacket doubling up on J.C. Ice. The referee's telling him one of you's got to get out of here. There's a double press. They're both down to the mat. Count of one by the referee. J.C. Ice with the good drop kick. First on Edric Hines, who rolls out of the ring, and then on the Yellow Jacket. Look at J.C. up on the ropes. Here he comes. Yellow Jacket's on the mat. Shoulders are down. 1, 2, and 3. It's all over. J.C. Ice was in there all the way, and Bill just said, "You never tagged me." J.C. wins the whole thing as he defeats the Yellow Jacket, and Edric Hines in the match here today. They're looking mighty good. Yellow Jacket and Edric Hines missed an opportunity, perhaps, to go for a pin, and it ended up costing him as J.C. Ice came up with a double press, put them both down on the mat. Edric Hines was sent rolling out of the ring. J.C. Ice right to work on Yellow Jacket, the 3 count, and it's a win for the Dundees, the superstar Bill and J.C. Ice.
Well, Lancer, that was a little bit of a strategy there. I mean, what can I tell you? We're going to get the boy fired up. He kind of still likes that Wolfie D, man. I'm telling you.
like Wolfie D.
Well, you just see it. I got him all fired up. He just whooped 2 guys.
I like you, Brian Christopher, you snot-nosed punk.
Hey, what are you talking about? Same age as you. Hey, Brian Christopher, I want you to listen. I want you to listen good, brother. For the last 6 months, he's came out here and he's talked about how old this guy is, how old that guy is. And I know when you're 24, anybody over 30 is old. But let me ask you something, punk. The hottest band in rock and roll is who? The Rolling Stones, man, that did more money than anybody else. The heavyweight champion of the world is who? Big George Foreman. Mike Tyson kept saying what he was going to do to him. Now he's out, and he ain't even called the man. He don't want to fight him. He's like you snot-nosed brat. He just wants to talk about it. And you know how you become a superstar or a legend or a king? You come out here week in and week out, Dave Brown, and you tell them what you're going to do. And you snot-nosed brat, you had that Wolfie D fired up, and you said, we're going to whoop the Dundees. Wrong, brother. You never done it. You're still wet behind the ears, boy. You ain't got enough lead in your britches to whoop me. And Wolfie D, you'll just walk around woo-woo, and whoever tells you you're great, you'll believe it. Well, Brian Christopher, maybe one day you will be great, brother. But right now, you're just a snot-nosed brat. And this week, we're going to put up that title shot that we got at the WWF. And you know what he's putting up, Dave?
Yeah, I do. He's having to put up his car.
He's putting up his blazer that his mama probably made the notes on, and it's paid for now. And that's all you own, punk. You know why? Because you haven't been around long enough. And you didn't even pay for that. Your mother bought it for you. You snot-nosed brat. Well, this week, you're going to get a new blazer, son.
I'm getting a new car, but I want to clear one thing up. Wolfie D may not like Bill Dundee.
Are we back on
Jamie
this again?
Dundee, JCI, can't stand you, Brian Christopher. But Wolfie D, me and you's homeboys from the hood. Peace to you, my brother. We're still the champs, and JCI
Jamie,
loves
we
you.
got to go out and beat him up.
Oh, you may get
Hey, listen, watch this. You already did it. Play the tape. Press the button up there.
That's my partner, and you ain't... No, man.
What's wrong?
No, you ain't doing that, man.
I just done
Well,
it.
you ain't... Shut up, man. Go with your dad.
Come on.
This is professional wrestling. And you know what makes the king great? Because he tells you what he's going to do. You know what he makes the superstar great? Because he tells you what he's going to do. Wolfie D, if you'd knocked me out, that would have been fine. But you never did it. And your snot-nosed partner never did it. We done it. The Dundees, the greatest father and son tag team in the world. And we're going to whoop Yokozuna. And they're still the champions at Old Heart.
Yeah, but we're going to be the only father and son tag team champions for the WWF.
Now, listen, you've got to whoop him.
Well, there they go. The fatherly advice from Bill Dundee. The tape showed part of what happened. Part of it. They did get the victory in that match. We're going to be back here. We got more to come. Don't go away.
In just a moment, we're going to see Brian and Wolfie in the ring, but before they get there, we're going to get them over here and have a little talk with them. After what we heard a little bit earlier, I got to tell you, Wolfie D, Brian Christopher, they'll be in action against the Gambler a little bit later on in a tag match. And here he comes. Well, Brian Christopher.
Well, Lance Russell, you know, I got a lot of things I want to talk about. Were you standing out here when superstar Bill Dundee...
I wondered if you heard all that.
Oh, I heard every single word that came out of superstar Bill Dundee's mouth. And I heard every single word that came out of little J.C. Ice, his son, every word that came out of his mouth. And Wolfie, I was trying to get you off the phone because I wanted you to listen to it for yourself. But you would have been sick to your stomach, just like I was, to have to listen to them talk about the Dundees, father and son. That's what they were talking about, Wolfie. Father and son, we're going to be the greatest tag team. And you didn't even want to come out here with me on this interview because you don't think that we can be a great tag team. You don't think that we got what it takes to be a tag team that can work together. Now, I know that everybody might have saw what happened last week, and they might have thought that we would never be standing out here together. But what happened was, I apologized to this man because I want this man right here to be Brian Christopher's partner. Last week, I know that I accidentally punched him, and he accidentally punched me. I know it was an accident, Wolfie, and those things happen. Accidents happen, right? That's what he said. Well, Wolfie, I see something in you that I want. Something in you. I see that attitude that you need. I see that killer instinct that I got, that I want to come out in you. Because no longer do you need little JC Ice. No longer does there need to be a PG-13 tag team. Yeah, that's right. I've said it before, and I'm going to tell you right now because I know what I'm talking about. No longer do you need JC Ice. Now, I know that he's been like a brother to you, and you've been a tag team for years and years and years. But believe me, blood is thicker than water, and when his dad tells him to do something, he's going to do it. If his father tells him to hit you, that's what he's going to do. If his father tells him to hit you with a hubcap, which is what happened last week, Lance, well, I got a tape. I want them to show my tape right now.
Bill was changing course to Jordan. And now Neil's Wolfie D, who was just here helping JC Ice. Oh, man.
Yeah, that's... Look out. Here comes Brian Christopher.
Well, Bill Dundee, I know what you're trying to do. You're trying to get this man to fight JC Ice. You want to see this man beat up JC Ice, don't you? Because, yeah, that's what he wants. He wants you to beat up his son. Because he knows then his son will never go back with you, and there'll be a tag team from now on. Because he knows JC Ice can't beat him up. JC Ice can't beat anybody up. Bill Superstar D can't beat anybody up. You can't beat me up. That's why I'm putting my blazer at stake. Here's the keys right here. Now listen to me and listen to me good. My blazer, a 1993 blazer. They said I had to put something at stake if we wanted another shot at them. Because now they got the title shot against Yokozuna and Owen Hart. That WWF World Tag Team title shot. Well, Bill Dundee, Jamie Dundee, I got the keys right here. I'll pull it right in there into the building. If you can beat myself and Wolfie D, you can drive out of there with my blazer.
You sure you want to do that, man?
I'm positive I want to do that.
Jamie, man. I ain't hitting Jamie. I'll be hitting Bill for you, but I ain't.
You'll do what I say, Wolfie.
Hey.
You'll do exactly what I say.
Oh, okay.
If you can beat us, you got my blazer. But I know, without a shadow of the doubt, you can't beat me, and you can't beat this man when he's got the attitude that I'm going to put into him. When he's got the attitude, there's nobody that's going to beat this tag team right here. This is the new tag team. This is the young tag team. We're not old. We're not old like Bill Dundee. We're not skinny. We're not skinny like JC. JC Ice. Jamie Dundee.
Okay, guys. Hey. Come on now. This is not the place to get
When we do beat you, I don't need your blazer with the WWF. I'll buy me 5 blazers, punk. No, you don't know. What's up, man? Let me tell you something, Bill. You hit me with a hubcap, and you come out here showing all these tapes. Look right there, the hubcap. Why don't you hit me with it right now? Hit me with it now. While I'm looking at you. While I'm looking at you.
Oh, come on, Bill. Whoa.
Hit me with it. Come on, hit me with it now. Come on. Hit me with it.
Hey, come on, Billy.
Hit me with it down, man.
Oh, come on, Brian. Now, you're the one that got it started. Hey, come on, you guys. There's places to settle.
Wolfie, he was going to grab that hubcap. He was going to hit you with it is what he was going to do. You were going to hit him with it.
He was going to hit
Yeah. You were going to hit him. Come on, man.
Come on, watch out.
Come on, you guys. Yeah, Randy, get him out of here, will you? Now, we don't need that stuff. There's places to settle it. I want to see the fight just as much as anything, but let's do it in the right place.
You see that? That's what I'm trying to tell you. That is what I'm trying to tell you. JC Ice will do whatever it takes. He'll stab you in the back, Wolfie. You got to stick with me. You got to stick with me.
They say he ain't going to stab me in the back.
He will stab you in the back. He'll do whatever his father says. You got to stick with me. Well, Bill Dundee, JC Ice, there's no way you're taking my blazer home with you this week because you cannot beat Brian Christopher and Wolfie D. We are going to embarrass you, boys, and then that's when we'll get that shot back at Yokozuna and Owen Hart. And then, Wolfie, then you'll see what I'm talking about. We will be the WWF
World Tag Team Champions.
told you that.
We will be the champions.
Wolfie D keeps telling Brian here he's not going to get involved in trying to beat up. He's making it very clear. And Brian Christopher's car is the one that's on the line. We'll see him in action in just a moment. Boy, what a goofy situation.
Of our time today on USWA Wrestling Tag Team Bout coming up. First introducing, making her way to the ring area. Combined weight of 469 pounds. From Los Angeles, California, Gorgeous George III. From the Mississippi Riverboats, the Gambler. And in their corner, Uptown Karen, Downtown Bruno. Their opponents today, wrestling out of Nashville, Tennessee, Wolfie D. And his partner from Memphis, Tennessee, Too Sexy, Brian Christopher. This one to the expiration of time, guys. Coming up here today on USWA Championship Wrestling.
Looks like Brian Christopher is going to be starting for his team, and Gorgeous George, no, it's going to be Wolfie D starting for his team. Gorgeous George third across the way. Gorgeous George third, the Gambler, with, don't forget, Downtown Bruno and Uptown Karen over in the corner. Boy, in an earlier match today, they really figured in the outcome in a not very good way.
That does not surprise me one bit. Downtown Connection, reformed.
Let me tell you something. Everybody on Fort Duquesne Boulevard is about as proud as they can be right now, because their favorite son come all the way here. Now, Walls, Mississippi's king, which is me, and the man from Fort Duquesne Boulevard, which is me, is back together with my mind and my senses and my downtown connection. Right here in the USWA, the bright lights, the big city, the major league. And here we are, baby. Right now, Brian Christopher and Wolfie D are going to be the first team to suffer the initial defeat delivered by the new and improved Downtown Connection.
Brian Christopher trying to give a little lecture to Wolfie D a bit about getting down there. What a weird situation.
Yeah, it is weird.
I gotta tell you.
Very weird. Wolfie D not all that thrilled to be partners with Brian Christopher. Brian Christopher, I think, is very happy to be partners with Wolfie D. He knows what kind of terrific wrestler he is. Wolfie certainly respects Brian's ability, but he sure doesn't want to get crossways with J.C. Ice, and that's what Brian is trying to get him to do.
Sunset flip, but it didn't pay off as the Gambler comes in from behind, drops a knee right between the shoulder blades on Wolfie D. Brian Christopher has not been in there yet. Wolfie is damn near getting up. He's getting steamed, and he just took, whoa, a slam and an elbow, and he kicks his way out of it. He's kind of mumbling and chewing to himself and trying to see if he can fight his way out of a bad situation. The whip.
Downtown Bruno, Uptown Karen shouting instructions from outside the ring. Wolfie D flips over to the corner, makes the tag. Here's Brian Christopher coming in. He takes on both of them. Gorgeous George third, victim of the super kick. The Gambler, the victim of the super kick. Out of the ring goes the Gambler. Wolfie D following him. Brian Christopher. Oh, look out. Referee talking to Downtown Bruno. Karen sprayed something, but she missed. She hit Gorgeous George in the eyes. Brian gets the count of three. That's it. Brian Christopher, Wolfie D get the win. We'll be right back. Boy, I tell you what, it's wild sometimes.
Yeah, you know, I just thinking about the folks sit in with us as we watch what's happening here, but there's nothing like being right there.
You're right.
Yeah, when it comes live to your town. That's a good way of saying, come on out and join us. There's no fun like the fun that we have right there when USWA Championship Wrestling comes to town. We got to get out of here, my boy, but thank goodness next week we can do it again. For Corey Macklin, Dave Brown, Lance Russell saying bye-bye, everybody.
The announcers on this program are selected and paid by parties other than this station, namely the promoters of USWA Championship Wrestling.